Hi, I'm Shevis Davis, the owner and the creative director of Paint with Faith. We're so excited to have this virtual experience with you. Here at Paint with Faith, we are a motivational painting experience, and our goal is to get you motivated through art. We also believe that if you could complete this painting class on today, then what else could you achieve in your life? Your goals, your dreams, or your desires? What could you achieve with just some motivation, some guidance, and just some faith or belief in yourself? So we want to encourage you to paint with faith. Well, I think we said enough. Let's go ahead and get to painting.
Hi, I'm Teara, and this is Paint with Faith, a motivational painting company. We believe that you can do all things, and we want you to believe that you can do that too. I need you to repeat after me. If I believe, I can achieve. Okay, but let's do it with a little more enthusiasm. Repeat after me like you believe it. If I believe, I can achieve. That's better. There are no mistakes in art. There may be a few happy accidents, but we believe that there's no mistakes in art. We want pure, positive energy. So everyone, let's do that. If you hear someone saying something negative, start snapping. Everybody, snap with me. If you hear someone say, I can't, let's snap out that negativity. And that keeps pure, positive energy. Snap with me. If you hear I can't, I don't, I can't, I don't, you keep snapping out that negativity. And that keeps our pure positive energy. This is called a canvas. Do you know why we call it a canvas? Because you can do all things. Canvas. You get it? So let's get started. Are you ready to paint? Great. In your paint pack, I want you to grab your small paintbrush. You should have already opened all of your paint pods. For convenience, of course. Let's get right to it. With your small brush, dip your brush into yellow. Locate the center of your canvas, about here. We are going to make a small yellow circle in the center of our canvas. Remember, there are no mistakes in art. Continue making a yellow circle until you achieve about an inch width all the way around the circle. So let's just keep going around and around. If your paintbrush starts to get dry, it's okay. Dip your brush into the yellow paint and let's keep going around and around, leaving the center of your canvas white. Do not paint the inside of the circle. We're going around. Make sure you're smoothing out all the lumps and the clumps. We do not want any lumps. Nice and smooth. If you need to go back over it to make it a little darker, you can. I'm just smoothing out all those lumps and clumps. We want it to have about this much thickness all the way around. Not bad. Now, with that same brush, no need to clean, you're going to dip your brush into the red. just a little. Now, at this point, we are going to start to blend. Everybody say blend. We are going to blend our colors together. Sounds like it's time for an art pop quiz. What two colors, when blended, make the color orange? I kind of gave you a hint. Did you guess yet? You give up? Red and yellow. I think I heard someone say so. When blended, red and yellow makes orange. So right where the yellow ends, we're gonna have the red begin. And it's okay if our brush gets a little dry. It's like a dry blending technique. We want to marry the two together, have those colors blend. And you're gonna start to see a little bit of what? Do you see the colors forming? It's starting to look a little like orange. We're going to take that little bit of red that we dipped in on our brush, and we are going to blend it into the yellow to start to create an orange. So you should have gone around that yellow circle, allowing the red to touch the yellow. Let's go around and around. Not covering all of the yellow completely. You do still want to see some of that yellow, but we want to start to form that orange. Isn't that nice? Make sure you're blending. Everybody say it with me, blend. Allow the two colors to touch, smoothing it out. You don't want to see where one color starts and the other color stops. So you should have yellow and orange. Next, we're gonna keep going in that same circular motion. Again, no need to clean your brush. We're dipping that same brush into the red. And now we're gonna go on the outside of where we left off on that orange, and we're going to create a red circle all the way around that orange. Blending it together. We're going around. If your brush starts to get too dry, it's okay. Dip it back into the paint and keep going, keeping that same circular motion. And as you can see, I go in different directions. There's no right or wrong way to make a circle. It's a circle. So let's continue with our red around and around. Again, smoothing out the paint. We want to make sure that it's nice and smooth. No humps, no clumps, no lumps. And we want to make the circle as even as we can on both sides. As you can see, my red on top is a little thicker than my red on the bottom. That's okay. I'm just going to continue in that same circular fashion and just extend my circle out a little bit more. And then I'm going to begin to fill it in. I'm so happy that you chose to paint with us today. I'm so excited about what we're about to create. And the joy of painting is that if you can paint a masterpiece on a blank canvas, imagine what else you can do if you just try and believe in yourself. So I think that we've created that red band beautifully. What do you think? I think it's time for another pop quiz. When blended, what two colors make the color purple? Well, we know one of the colors is red. Can you guess the other color? Blue. When blended, red and blue makes purple. So at this time, that's what we're going to do. Again, no need to clean your brush. We're going to take this same brush with the red paint and we're going to blend red and blue to give us purple. Not everyone's purple will be the same shade, and that's okay. Some of us like a darker purple, others like a lighter purple. Again, there's no mistakes in art. You decide which shade purple that you like. I'm gonna go with a deeper velvety red, purple, which I added more blue than red to give me a deeper tone. And again, allow the colors to touch. It's okay if you get some of that purple onto the red. We want them to touch. So please blend, blend, blend. Everyone say it with me. Blend, blend, blend. Blend those colors together so you can't see where one color starts and the other color stops. Blend those colors together. I'm going to spend some time here blending these colors together. And it's okay. Take your time. This is your masterpiece. I can't wait to see what you've created. At the conclusion of the class, I'm gonna ask for you to take a photo of your pictures and I want you to post them on our Instagram. Make sure you tag us at Paint with Faith and let us know, how do we do? I'm going to blend the red and blue. I needed some more paint. And I'm going to continue to make a thicker band around this purple. Now I added a little more blue to this tone so that I can get a little darker tone purple. Now if you want to do a lighter version, you can add more red. Now as you can see, don't be alarmed. We are running out of space on my side of this canvas. It's okay. There's no mistakes in art, remember? So I'm going to continue in an arched pattern, simulating that circular pattern until I reach my desired thickness for my purple. And then again, I kind of step back, I observe the width of my purple, and I see that it's thinner on the bottom than it is on the top, and that's okay. I'm going to mix more purple. And I'm going to continue in that circular fashion on the bottom until I achieve the same desired width on the bottom as I did on the top. And take your time. Don't forget that word I said, blend, blend, blend. Allow the colors to touch. So again, you don't see where one color starts and the other stops. Blend those colors together. It's okay. If your brush starts to dry out and you run out of paint, it's okay to mix more paint. There's plenty in your paint pot. Go ahead and mix those two colors that we learned together. That's red and blue to achieve your desired shade of purple. Isn't that beautiful? Purple is definitely one of my favorite colors. How could you have just one favorite color? Or at least I don't. So I'm going to make this purple a little thicker. At this point, you should be toward the bottom and closer to the top of the canvas. And eventually you're going to see that we only have our 4 corners remaining for our last shade that we're going to incorporate into our masterpiece. Now I am blending more purple by mixing those 2 colors, that red and that blue. I'm going to add a little more blue to my purple, which is going to give you a hint as to what the last color is going to be. Can you guess? Oh, I think someone may have guessed it right. Our last color is going to be blue. So as I began to prepare to blend my purple with my blue, before I went straight into the blue, I added more blue to my purple. Just a little tip to help us blend a little bit better. So again, if you've run out of space on the sides of your canvas, no need to panic. Keep the pure positive energy. Make sure if you hear anyone around you, if they're starting to get negative, snap out the negativity. You can do it. And no 2 paintings are alike. Just like each one of us, we're all unique and we're different. Go over, make sure you're smoothing out any lumps, any clumps, any humps. We want to make sure that our painting is nice and smooth. And what's that word? Blended. Very good. Awesome job. Our last color that we're going to use for our background is blue. Again, there's no need to clean your brush. Take that same brush and you're going to dip it into your blue paint pot, and we are going to blend. Everybody say blend. We're going to blend that blue right into our purple. Allow the 2 colors to touch. Go over it a few times to make sure you don't see where one color starts and the other stops. It's okay for the colors to touch and mix. They want to be together. Look at that. You can't see where one color starts and one color stops. Let's do the same thing at the top of our canvas in the same arched motion. Since we don't have a full circle, it's okay. I'm off the canvas as well. I'm just keeping that same arched motion to give us the illusion of a circle. How's it going? If your brush dries out, that's okay. Just dip it back into the blue. And let's continue in that same circular pattern. Or arched pattern, I should say. Now, if you get other colors onto your brush, that's okay too. Blend it out, blend it out. There's no mistakes in art, only room for creativity. So I'm going to continue to fill in the corners of my canvas. I want to make my corners a little darker, so I'm just gonna go over it again with another shade of blue. So at this point with the blue, this should be your last coat for your background. Now I'm going to complete. There should be no other white spaces in your background, except for that one in the middle. Do not color that one in the middle. We have something special for the center of our canvas. Stay tuned and you will see. So I am going in and filling in my corners with my blue, doing the best I could to stay in that circular motion. It can get a little difficult around the edges, and that's okay. Take your time. I try to keep that circular pattern, that arched pattern. Do your best. Do your best. Do what's comfortable for you and your masterpiece creating. And again, blend, 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 blend. Say it with me. Blend, blend, blend. Isn't that beautiful? Now it's time for us to clean our brushes. Dip your brush into water and do your best to get all of the excess color off of your brush. In your paint pack, you should have gotten a washcloth. We're going to use our washcloth to dry our brush before we use our next color. So everybody should be clean, 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 cleaning your brushes. Let's clean, clean, clean. Give your brushes a good bath. They've been through the entire rainbow. Well, just about. Brush is nice and clean. Now I'm going to dry it off with my washcloth. Now, with your dry brush, I want you to dip your brush in black. Just a little. Now, we are going to locate the side of our canvas, about an inch into our canvas, center. We are going to place one dot. Can you see that? About there. At the bottom of our canvas, we're going to place another dot. About an inch in at the bottom. Now, we're going to connect the dots. From the top of our canvas to the bottom of the canvas, do your best to connect the dots in a straight line going down. It doesn't have to be perfect. Guess what we're making? We're making a tree. And organically, trees have a rough surface, curves and bumps and humps and lumps. So if it's not straight, it's okay. No tree is. Now, we are going to make the tree a little wider. I want you to, at the top, where we started with that first dot, you may have to dip your brush back in a little more black in case it dried out. And we're going to make a triangle. At the bottom of most trees, it's wider. And typically, it goes narrow as it goes higher and taller. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to create that same illusion for our tree. We're going to start at that first dot, and we're going to go to the corner of the canvas and place another dot. And now we're going to connect those two dots, and it will be kind of a triangle shape. Do you want to try it with me? And again, it's not straight, and that's what we want. So the bottom of our tree is a little wider, and then it comes to a more narrow point. Take your brush, dip it back in black, and you are going to paint inside, everyone say inside of that triangle, creating our tree. Now I like to do long strokes down just so that my paint looks nice and smooth and in the same direction. If you need to dip your brush into more black, it's okay. Go ahead and do that. And everybody's tree is going to be different thickness, and that's okay too. I'm actually going to add some lumps to my tree by creating little dents and bumps on the sides of it. When I was younger, I used to love climbing trees, and I counted on these grooves to have a foothold for my foot so that I can climb higher and higher. If the tree was smooth, I wouldn't get to the top. So it's so important that you have some shape to your tree. some curves and grooves. Think of me climbing that tree. It was so much fun. Did any of you climb trees growing up? Or still climb trees? It's looking good, right? Yeah. Now it's time to build out our tree and the branches on that tree. How exciting. This is where you can get a little creative. Initially, I like to dip my brush in paint, and I like to smooth out my brush by sweeping off the excess paint. So you see I don't have a lot of lumpy, clumpy paint on my brush. It's very thin and smooth. That's gonna help me to make thinner branches. Let's get started. The first branch that we're going to do is going to cut across the center of our circle. Okay, we're gonna come from here to here. I love connect the dots because that helps to give me a point of reference on where I'm going. So if you don't mind, I'm going to place a dot where I'm going and a dot where I'm starting. So I know I'm going to start here because I'm going over there. Do you want to try it with me? So that first dot we're going to put here where we're starting. And again, my branch, it doesn't have to be straight, but I'm going here. With the edge of the brush is how I got this thin line. And I'm going right across. You try it. You can do this. It's okay. There's no mistakes in art. Now, like with the bottom of our tree, our branches do the same thing. They're thicker and then they go out thinner. How do I get that? Well, I'm going to place another dot here and about midway, place a dot here. And I am going to connect those dots to make my branch a little thicker. It's okay to have humps and lumps and bumps in your branch. Now we're going to fill in now this triangle. Do you see that? Kind of, sort of, yeah. Let's go ahead and fill that in. If you need more paint on your brush, go ahead and do so. Now I'm gonna make my branch a little thicker. Okay, filling that in. How's it looking? It's starting to come alive, isn't it? I'm going to place another branch. I think about here. So I'm going to start from here and I'm going to curve up here. You ready to try? From that first dot, I'm going to curve up and over. Dip my brush back in black, and I'm going to make that a little wider by going midway. Make a dot there, and I'm going to connect it here. And I'm making another triangle, kind of, sort of. See that? Because we want that area wide as well. Go ahead and fill in that triangle. See if you can do that. Where do you want your branch to be wider? Then that's where you create the two dots and connect them. Now the key to this is to not put so much black on your paintbrush, so you get thinner lines and more control over the shape of your branches. Let's keep creating. I'm dipping my brush back in black. See how it has a clump of paint kind of hanging there? Well, I'm gonna smooth that out by wiping off some of the excess. See the difference? Smoothing that out. And I want another branch about here to go this way. So I'm gonna place a dot here, to connect here, and I'm going to just simply connect them. That helps me to know where I'm going. Now, for my professional tree makers, you can create your branches as you wish. I'm going to make this branch a little thicker here. I think I want to add another branch coming here, hanging this way. And now you can be as creative as you like, adding your branches to your masterpiece. Now you should start to see your tree in the night sky. And that circle that's in the center of our masterpiece is going to be like the moon. Can you see it now? I'm going to continue to make a few more branches. I think that I have a lot of space in this area, so I'm going to create just a small branch protruding toward the bottom. Again, the key to thinner lines is to flatten out that brush and remove the excess black paint from your brush, so you have more control. Now I'm making my owl that's going to sit on the branch. You're going to do that by making an oval on top of the branch in the center of the canvas. Dip your brush in the black paint, and now we're going to create a smaller oval to give the illusion of his head on top of the body. We do that by making a smaller oval on top. I'm going to add ears by taking my brush, turning it this way, and simply dabbing 2 lines for his ears. And that's going to give us the illusion of an owl. It's looking amazing, isn't it? Our owl in the moonlight. Now our tree is starting to look very bare, and I want it to have some blossoms. So let's work on that. Go ahead and clean your brush. It's time to give your brush a bath. Clean, clean, clean. Clean all of that black off of the brush. Clean, clean, clean. And we are going to dry our brush. Oh, look how clean that is. We're going to dry our brush with our washcloth. Go ahead and get all of that water out of our brush. Now, I am going to create blossoms, and it's super simple. You're going to enjoy this technique. I am going to create blue blossoms, but I want to do a very light blue. So I'm going to gather blue and white, and I'm going to mix the 2 colors together until I get the desired shade of blue that I like. I love light blue. So once I have the blue shade that I want, I'm going to grab a blob of that. See that there? And we're going to dab. Everybody say tap, 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 tap. That is the motion that we're going to do around each cluster of branches that we have. Okay? So I'm going to start at our lowest branch, and I'm going to, everybody say tap, 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 tap. And you're going to start to tap. Now, I like that my blossoms hang. So I like to think that I am in a triangular shape where I am broader at the top, where my branch connects, and I go to a point where the blossoms end. And you see that triangular shape? Broader at the top, and it gathers at a point at the bottom. And we did that by simply tapping, 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 tapping. Can you try that? And it's okay if some of the black gets onto your brush. It's okay. That's our first bunch of flowers. If you need to mix more paint, this will be the time to do so, and it's okay to do that now. We're going to continue creating blossoms on each tree branch that you have. I'm going to continue with the branch that the owl is sitting on. And we're going to do what? Tap, tap, tap. Don't forget, think triangle. If you even want to tap in a triangular motion so that you remember what shape we're doing, can you see my triangle? And then you tap within that triangle. Does that help with your creation of your blossoms? And we're just tapping. It's gonna come alive soon, soon, soon. Now I'm on the upper branches. Again, same triangular shape where the blossoms are hanging. I'm gonna continue to each branch, creating that hanging blossom. And you can do this. It's really simple, but it will take a little time for you to tap the shape that you desire. Okay? If you have more paint on one side of the brush than the other, flip it over. It's okay. We want to use all of the paint that we can. And again, it's okay if you get some of the black from that branch on your brush. I need to mix a little more paint. And my last blossoms on this last branch here, it's gonna hang a little lower. It's looking beautiful, isn't it? Now, to give it more depth and make the flowers really come alive, I used blue. You can use light purple. You can use light pink. You can do that by mixing the red and the blue to give you purple. And then add a little white and you get that really light purple. Or if you want pink, you can add red and white, blend it together, and it gives you that beautiful pink shade. So whichever shade that you choose is okay, or even green. So now that I did a light blue blossom, I'm going to create depth by adding a dark blue. Right over it. Just a few taps. And look at that, doesn't it look like it's coming alive? Wow, like we can just smell the blossoms, right? In that night sky. So you take the darker color and you go over it. So if you used light pink, you're gonna tap it with red. If you used light purple, you can go over with blue or a darker purple. Now there is one final step that gives your masterpiece value. Does someone know what that is? The final step that gives your painting value is you and your signature. Now it's time to sign your artwork. I hope that you've enjoyed our class. It has been amazing painting with you today. So don't forget to take out your phones, take a picture of your masterpiece, and post it on Instagram and Facebook, and even TikTok. Don't forget to tag us at Paint with Faith. Now it's time for your signature. Make sure you post. Your signature is what gives your painting value. I'm Teara, and this is Paint with Faith. Remember, your life is a canvas, so paint it with faith.
Well, I hope you enjoyed your class on today with one of our artists. Well, remember, your life is a canvas, paint with faith. Make sure you go to paintwithfaith.com and find us at our social media sites at Paint with Faith. Again, thanks again for painting with faith. This is the Paint with Faith family. We're a motivational painting company. We believe you can do all things. All you need in your life for your dreams and goals is just some motivation, some guidance, and some faith in yourself. Remember, your life is a canvas painted with faith. I know I can.
I know I can.
Paint what I want to paint.
Paint what I want to paint.
If I don't know the way,
If I don't know the way,
I can paint with faith.
I can paint with faith.
I know I can.
I know I can.
Paint what I want to paint.
Paint what I want to paint.
If I don't know the way,
If I don't know the way,
I can paint with faith.
I can paint with faith.
Wanna have a paint party? We come to you. If you wanna paint night, that's what we'll do. If you can't come out the house, that's just fine. We could do it at your house, or we could do it online. It's like being in person, and you can't tell if you need a paint pack. We'll send it in the mail. We can do it online or face to face. Your life is a canvas, so just paint it with faith.
I know I can paint with faith now. I know I can paint with faith now. I know I can paint with faith now. I know I can paint with faith now.
I can.
I know I can.
Paint what I want to paint.
Paint what I want to paint.
If I don't know the way,
If I don't know the way,
I can paint with faith.
I can paint with faith.
I know I can.
I know I can.
Paint what I want to paint.
Paint what I want to paint.
If I don't know the way,
If I don't know the way,
I can paint with faith.
I can paint with faith.
You need a guide, just motivate with art. No need to be an artist, you just need to start. There's no mistakes, there's no mistakes. Your life is a canvas, so just paint it with faith. If I believe, I can achieve. That's all I gotta do to be who I wanna be. Paint with faith says I could do all things. So if you don't know, then you gotta sing.
I know I can paint with faith now. I know I can paint with faith now. I know I can paint with faith now. I know I can paint with faith now.
I can.
I know I can.
Paint what I want to paint.
Paint what I want to paint.
If I don't know the way,
If I don't know the way,
I can paint with faith.
I can paint with faith.
I know I can.
I know I can.
Paint what I want to paint.
Paint what I want to paint.
If I don't know the way,
If I don't know the way,
I can paint with faith.
I can paint with faith.
We don't take L's, we only learn lessons. A master artist for every session. You're telling us we need to be positive. So when you snap out the negative. A masterpiece, yo, that's the plan. To hold up a canvas and say, I can.
I can.
I can.